Hello, this is another one of my videos on Shaykhism, this one dealing with the life of said Kazem Rašti. It comes from a long essay by Armin Eschraghi in Encyclopædia Iranica on Kāẓem Rašti and was originally published in 2013. It's available both in print and online. Dr. Eschraghi has a PhD in Islamic Studies from the University of Frankfurt and is a lecturer in Persian and contemporary Iranian religious thought in Gießen and Frankfurt universities. And he's also the author of a monograph in German, which translates as Early Shaykhi and Babi Theology, presenting the evidence of Muhammad's special prophethood, published by Brill. So Sayyid Kazem was born in Rasht in northern Iran. Various dates are given for his birth, ranging from 1784 up through to 1799 and 1800. That's a range of 15 years, so we really don't know. He died in Karbala. The normal date given is the 1st of January 1844, but sometimes you see it as the day before because of the historic day. He was the student's successor of Sheikh Ahmad and head of the Shaykhi movement. Accounts concerning Sayyid Kazem's childhood are sparse and contradictory, and often mixed with myths and marvels commonly found in saints' biographies. Already as a child, he showed little interest in playing, but was rather inclined to seclusion and mysticism and studying the Quran. Like his master Sheikh Ahmad Asai, Rashti is said to have had several significant visions, including a dream in which Fatima, the Prophet's daughter, instructed him to travel to Yazd, where he was to meet with Asai. Edward Brown mentions a different account, according to which at the age of 12, Rashti was living in Ardabil, where an ancestor of the Safavids appeared to him in a vision and told him to go to Yazd. It seems improbable, though, that he met Asai at such a young age. At any rate, visions would play an important role in Rashti's later life, just as they did for Asai, since they provided the basis for claims to otherwise hidden knowledge. The Shaykhiya are thus sometimes referred to as the Kashfiya, those who unveil esoteric knowledge. It was in Yazd that Rashti met Asai for the first time, sometime between 1809 and 1814. When the latter was living there, Rashti soon established himself as a prime student of Asai and gained a wide reputation amongst the Sheikh's followers. From that point on, he spent most of his time in the presence of his master, only leaving him for pilgrimage to Mecca and when being sent on a journey by him. Rashti must have received his basic education in Rasht, his hometown. Later on, he also obtained authorizations such as that from various prominent clerics of the day. Nevertheless, Asai must be considered as Rashti's prime mentor. Rashti seems to have regarded him as a father figure, just as Asai is reported to have referred to Rashti as my son. Rashti himself explained how he became impressed with Asai's knowledge and his personality. Their relation has also been characterized by some as that of a Murad and Murid, a spiritual master and his disciple. Asai died in 1826 without leaving a written testament designating a successor. Nonetheless, Rashti's role as leader remained undisputed, despite the fact that there were several older and seemingly more qualified candidates. This is due to the fact that Rashti's special status was already evident during the lifetime of Asai, who had occasionally sent him as his representative, or put him in charge when he travelled himself, just as he had done when he went on his last pilgrimage, in the course of which he passed away. Asai also had directed Rashti to answer letters on his behalf, and even to complete some of his unfinished works. A number of sayings are attributed to Asai that distinguish Rashti from other students, the most significant of which might be the following, since it comes close to establishing a sort of Salsalah, chain of spiritual descent. This is the quotation. Receive ye knowledge from Sayyid Kazem, for he has received it directly from me, and I have received it directly from the Imams, who in turn have received it directly from God. Although not endowed with as much charisma and theological authority as Asai, Rashti eventually managed to establish himself as a respected theologian vis-à-vis other ulama, as well as the Ottoman authorities in Karbala. However, initially he faced severe opposition. Asai had been a respected religious authority during most of his lifetime, and it was only towards the end of his life that he became subject to charges of heresy. His reputation was sound, and his connections to influential authorities, including even the Persian royal court, had spared him more severe consequences. Rashti, however, was perceived as a somewhat weaker target. Most of the early years after his mentor's death, Rashti spent writing apologetic tracts proving his own and Asai's orthodoxy. In 1828, however, he appeared before a group of influential ulama in Karbala, amongst them Muhammad Mahdi Tabatabai, Muhammad Jafar Ashtrabadi, and Sharif Ulama Muhammad Sharif Mazindarani, who questioned him about Asai's views on resurrection. Although Rashti ably defended his master, eventually he was forced to admit that some of Asai's statements, if taken literally, would amount to disbelief. Thus, those ulama who were present at the meeting issued a decree against him, denouncing him as an unbeliever. Later on, he was deprived of his right to ijtihad and banned from Karbala by his opponents, but neither decree was ever enforced due to his adversaries' lack of influence and the fact that their efforts were not supported by the most important ulama. Rashti also managed to gain influential supporters, such as Mullah Muhammad Baqir Shafti of Esfahan. He also established friendly contacts with other ulama, including Sunnis. Political authorities, as well as members of the royal family, such as Suleiman Khan Afshar, at least sympathized with his views. Towards the end of his life, Rashti and his then chief adversary, Sayyid Ibrahim Qazvini, were considered as the two most powerful ulama of Karbala. Rashti always claimed that Asai's views were in perfect harmony with 12th Shi'i orthodoxy, and that any claim to the contrary was merely grounded in insufficient knowledge of the latter's specific terminology, a view held also by Henri Corbin and Idris Samawi Hamid. According to him, according to Rashti, Asai had not founded a new Ashab, but had only clung to the true teachings of the holy Imams. Nevertheless, as a fruit of permanent conflict with the Usulis, the Shaykhis gradually developed a distinct identity and increasingly were perceived as a new school of thought within 12th Shi'ism. Another factor that no doubt led to consolidation of Shaykhism was that Rashti, unlike Asai, only rarely travelled. Therefore, Karbala gradually evolved into a focal point and centre for the Shaykhiyya under his leadership. Rashti died on the 11th of Zulhijjah, 1259 of the Hijrah, which here is given as the 1st of January 1844, in Karbala. It's alleged by some that he was poisoned on orders of the Sunni governor of Baghdad, but there's no proof of this allegation, especially in light of the otherwise good relationship that Rashti had with the governor. The legend might have served to clear Rashti of charges of collaboration with the governor, otherwise reputed to be a fierce enemy of the Shi'is. So many thanks to you for listening, and particular thanks to my patrons for their kind support and encouragement, without them, I wouldn't be able to make these videos. If you want, you're very welcome to support my channel. Like, comment, and share on the videos. It really does help. Subscribe if you want to be notified of future videos, and I'll give Patreon and PayPal links below in case you want to provide practical support. Next week, we'll move on to talk about his writings, Sayyid Kazem's writings. Have a good day.